how's it going, everybody? Gabriel, Santiago here. So this is a Speaking of Harmony podcast, and this is episode 47. All right, before we go into today's subject, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the little bell to notifications. This is all my social media stuff. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps a lot with the video. And also don't forget to sign up for the mailing list. The information is here in the video description. All right, let's continue that talk about non-harmonic tones, right? I played something similar in this intro, similar to the intro from last episode, same kind of harmony, but I was using a different type of non-harmonic tone, right? So today we're going to be talking about the passing tone, right? The passing tone, that's one that I use a lot as well. What is a passing tone? Well, a passing tone could be defined as a note that is not from the chord, that is, as the name says, just passing by, like from one note of the chord to another note of the chord. So different from the neighbor tone, this one doesn't return to the place that generated. It just keeps going to the next note of the chord. So it can be up or down, right? But the idea is if the neighbor tone is something like this, like, then the passing tone will be, it just passed to, going upwards, and I can do, something like that, like a downward projection. So I can do, say, G, F, E, F being the passing tone, right? Different from the neighbor tone, which could be F, but on this occasion be E, F, E. So it's going up and then returning, or going down, returning. And this one passes by and keeps the direction, whatever that movement was. So, right? So it always lands in a note from the chord again, right? But this one doesn't return. So that's the passing tone, right? So the example I was kind of doing that little improvisation intro was, so, right? And you can say, wow, what is this? How this is a passing tone of this F sharp? Well, this F sharp is a note from the chord, right? As D, so, right? And then, right? Something like that, right? So you see the idea. It's very similar to the neighbor tone, but it's different in a way that the neighbor tone comes back to whatever it was, but this one keeps going either up or down, right? And that can be pretty useful to a lot of things. Again, the same idea that we explored on last episode about using that non-harmonic tone as something as similar as a generator of ideas, right? So counter melodies and comments and stuff like that, or even themes, or little fragments or motifs. You can use those this concept to generate a lot of melodic material, right? Using the example last time from this Jobim song, so you can use passing tones as well. So I'll demonstrate something like so. Up here, and I did a little comment. See, B flat, C, D flat, right? So this is the passing tone. So it's very effective, and you can combine the passing tone with the neighbor tone, because now we can talk about more than one non-harmonic tones, right? Because I was exemplifying and just using one thing, one occurrence, but you can have multiple, right? I can have a sequence of them, right? So I can do something like mixing up neighbor tones and passing tones. So I can do. Right? I mixed up the neighbor tone and the passing tones together, right? You can use. Another thing you can do is expand the concept, and I talked about this before, about the appoggiatura, which is another non-harmonic tone, which I'm gonna talk about in the next episodes. But in that particular episode, I'm gonna be linking that in the card over here. I was talking about the appoggiatura chord, the diminished appoggiatura chord, which is a concept that you can use of expanding the idea of non-harmonic tones to the chords, right? So, or notes together, or something like more than one note. So you saw that the little improvisation thing I did in the beginning, I didn't do this, I did. See, I moved one more than one note, right? What did I do? I did, So it's the concept of the passing, but I did more than one note passing, right? So I did, instead of just E, F, G, I also did G, A, B, right? So I just kind of double in, it's 6, right? Or compound thirds if you want to see it that way. So, right? And then I can do, right? So I can use thirds or 6 or whatever interval, and I can also move entire chords, right? I can do passing chords instead of passing tones, and that can be super useful as well if you were in a situation where you need to keep the harmony moving. As we always talking about, we have a progression in which the chord doesn't really move much, and you want to apply a movement, so you can use that to get, for instance, to the inversions that we talked about also before. Let's say this our chord is just being C major, right? And then B over G. So you see that I spaced out the chords a little bit, right? So this C, they stays here, right? So I can create some movement if I do, instead of just doing this, right? I can do. See, I use a passing chord, not only a note, but I just made a chord out of that note, right? So in this case, I use a diminished D diminished here. So, right, and then C over E chord, right, inversion, right? So I showed that in exercises before, how you can play with inversions and also use passing tones. In this case, a passing chord, right? So you can explore things like that, So I'm just using passing tones in the descending way, but I'm harmonizing them as diminished, right? Of course, in this example, I use diminished, but you can use, whatever kind of chords you can find that fits. You can use dominant chords and stuff like that, altered chords. But I got the idea, right? So passing tones is a super effective non-harmonic tone, because then you start to get in the territory of having options to choose, right? I can use neighbor tones, I can use passing tones, and we're going to be talking about all the non-harmonic tones as well, right? But today I just wanted to continue talking about this subject and just kind of showing in detail all these non-harmonic tones. This is the one I use, because there are many names, people call them different names and stuff, but I wanted to address this particular one, the passing, because there's an opportunity there to insert chords and stuff like that, and that became this passing chord instead of just passing a single note, right? So I hope you like that. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, activate the little bell thing notification. This is all my social media stuff. Don't forget to sign up for the mailing list. And I see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.